Hey everybody, welcome to Charlestown Races Today. There's some really good racing on tap this weekend at Charlestown Races, including a stacked allowance on Friday featuring the return of Maryland-bred stalwart Barbadian Runner against some of the top local horses. That should be a really interesting race. Really excited to see that. Plus, there's the Coin Collector Stakes Saturday. That's the feature of the day. 3-year-olds going 4.5 furlongs, one turn at Charlestown. That's got a bulky field, but also an unusual situation. One trainer in the race has 4 horses. One owner has pieces or all of 6. And one other trainer or owner is left on the outside looking in. We're going to get into all of that here on Charlestown Races Today. Trainer Anthony Farrior, who's got the 4, he's going to join us in a couple minutes. And a little bit later, Paul Espinosa, track announcer for Charlestown, is going to join us. We're going to talk about all the racing this weekend, do a little bit of handicapping, and review some of what's been going on in the last couple weeks. That's all coming up right now on Charlestown Races Today, powered by the Racing Biz, theracingbiz.com. and presented by our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. Please like and subscribe. Let's check in with Anthony Farrior. Anthony, thanks for joining me here on Charlestown Races Today. We got a bunch of horses to talk about Saturday with the Coin Collector, but before we get there, I want to talk about there's an absolutely stacked allowance race you're in on Friday with Patingas Twin, who won the Dave's Friend last year at Laurel. Did you kind of think when you were entering that race, were you thinking like, yeah, we'll probably be a pretty solid favorite with this horse? And it didn't come up quite that way.
No, Barbadian Runner's in there. The nice horse. He's been running big. I mean, he beat post time last year. Yeah, when I entered, I thought maybe this would be a good race to get him into, get him back in the flow of things. We turned him out for a few weeks, let him eat some grass. He worked phenomenal the other day, so we're just going to, I guess, swing at it and see what we can do.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Paul Espinosa texted me yesterday that Barbadian Runner was entered, and boy, I didn't see that coming. Although he has a win over the Strip, so it makes some sense.
Yeah, just hopefully they don't go 22, 45. I think in this race, hopefully it's a more, slower pace, so he don't have something to run into real easy. Hopefully we can step a little bit off of it and, get a jump on him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're the second favorite there in the morning line. He's favored, but he's only 5-2. You're 7-2. And then I think Falcon Blue, who's 5 for 7 at Charlestown, is like 9-2.
Yeah, the horse seems like he likes it there. So, but the Falcon Blue, nothing against him, but I don't think he's run anything against, Batingas and the other horse. So we'll see. We'll take our chances.
No, you guys are a little more accomplished than he is. Did Patingas? Who's the horse you had who ran in one of the big stakes at Charlestown last year and got cooked as part of the pace?
Faster Gator.
How's he doing? Is he doing?
He's doing great. We're pointing him towards Saturday, the Maryland Sprint or whatever.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's going to work either Friday or Saturday, depending on the weather. We haven't run since he won the Mahoney Youth Stake race, so that we I wanted to get a race in before that, but just with the weather and everything, we kind of got backed up. So it was going to be too close to try to get him a race. So we nominated for the stake. We'll look at it and see how it draws out.
Mm-hmm.
If it looks like it's too tough or something, we'll just scratch and find a different race.
Yeah, that race can come up tough. So, you get all those big trainers that bring in,
They like that bonus money they offer that.
Yeah.
They like the bonus. So we'll see. I mean, Asmussen usually brings something, pretty good. And then I think Hammy Smith's horse that won the 3 other than the other day looked really well. So, So he looked pretty tough.
Yeah. We'll see how it shakes out. Are you gonna have a bunch for that weekend, or are you gonna be looking to maybe scoop up some of that bonus money yourself?
We're gonna enter a few. I don't know. A couple of the maiden races, I have a few for it. couple of the A other than's. We'll have a couple and a couple turf races. I think I nominated 2 for stakes. We don't have a lot of, Patingas is nominated actually for the same race as Faster Gator, but he's going to run Friday at Charlestown. Unless it comes down a flood here in the next few days. I won't run over a sloppy track there, but as long as the track's good, we'll shoot for that.
So the coin collector, you got 4 entered. Your owner, one of your owners, Richard Burnsworth, owns some or all of 6. So if he doesn't win, it's a pretty tough day for him.
He's collected a few of these West Virginia breds now. I think when we first got together, he had none. So now, with less breeding, and I think we got 10 or 12 mares together. So every year he's going to have a few. I don't know if all of them will run. As of right now, all of them's going to run, but we'll do more of a race time decision since it's a stake race. We can get out at any time. So as of right this second, they'll all run, but we'll see.
So let's talk about them. We'll start with Edie's Flame. Won the Triple Crown Nutrition last year. Horse is named for Brittany Russell's daughter. Is that correct?
Correct.
Her daughter Edie. When you're naming a horse for a person, are you trying to make a very early judgment about whether this will be a good horse or not?
To be honest, I let Burnsworth name 90% of them. And before you can bring him into Charlestown, you got to have them named. So a few of these I named like the night before. I just throw something together so I can get them in the gate. I named one, what did I name it? Bud the Great One, which is Brittany's, his name's Rye, but it's Brittany's other child. So I named one Bud the Great One. So we'll see. I usually don't like naming them after people because I think it's a bad curse, because I named one after my wife. If that thing couldn't outrun me. So I really don't like naming them, but I named one after Edie, so I had to name one after Bud.
Sure.
So we'll go from there. I think he's had Bud's Island, so Bud's Island won a couple races, so maybe he's lucky.
Yeah. Let's hope so, right? So what did your wife say when you named a horse for her and then the horse couldn't run?
She always says, if you want to win a race, let me bet the other ones, because she has no luck. So she ended up with me, so I'm probably the luckiest thing she ever got. But I mean, she gets it. She understands the racing game. We run a lot of horses every year, so not all of them's going to be good ones.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. Now, Edie's Flame, was that the first horse that you bred?
Yes, first homebred, yes.
So how cool is it to win a stakes race with your first homebred?
It was great. I mean, the Breeders' Awards, I liked it better, You get the bonus money, Yeah. Actually, the picture right here of her. So,
okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's great when you put a lot of work in it and get them there and able to win a stake race. It's tough, but when we got him early, I didn't think she was the best one, and then she just gradually keeps getting better. I think the farther she goes, the better she'll be. She'll be a game time decision. I'll probably wait Saturday, see how she is in the afternoon, and we'll go from there.
Well, it's a filly that would be taken on the boys. Does that go into your calculation?
Yeah, and she's run a few, so she's actually at Laurel, so we'll train her Saturday morning, and then we'll go from there. But I probably won't ship her down to probably 2 or 3 o'clock to Charlestown. But as of right now, she's a game time decision, so we'll see how she is.
Okay. One of the Burnsworth horses is Mayor of Greene County. Now, broke his maiden last week, right?
Correct. So that's quick back for him too.
Yeah.
And he went on 7/8, but he's got speed. He's probably the best one out of the bunch, to be honest, out of all of them. He just hasn't had enough experience. He had some shins early on, so he's just struggling through it, and then he's finally coming around. He had a terrible second start. He stumbled real bad out of the gate. Boca barely stayed on. He was dead last. Come made a big move and got to be like a half a length.
Oh, wow.
So he ran a huge race then, and then he beat Older the other day. Dave Walters first was like it's gonna be all right. He beat him by like a head. So he's coming around.
You got the Big Lep. Who is the Big Lep? What's that name for?
Burnsworth named that. I think it's one of his friends. I don't quite know, but he named that one. I named Mary Green County. He named the Big Lep. But he seems like he's coming around. We knew he was going to be fast. I run him at Timonium. I loved him at Timonium. And then just the races got farther, and then he didn't break real well in the stake race at Charlestown. And then he started having some shins. So we gave him some time, let him come around. And I just ran him at Laurel just to get a race in him before the stake races and everything was here. And then he's come back with 2 in a row. So he's doing well.
Yeah, he's got 3 career wins. Your busiest one has been Irish Jubilee, right? He's got 4.
Correct.
He's 4 for 11. How's he coming into this?
He's doing good. I mean, the last time he run against open horses, going 6.5, I believe. It just looked like it was a merry-go-round that night. You got to the lead, you just kept on going. I think it was Falcon Blue, not Falcon Blue. It was one of the Kevin Joy horses. He's beat me twice. I've beat him twice, but he's coming to race good. I thought with the Big Let with his speed, Mary Green County probably in the middle of the pack, and then Irish Jubilee probably be a little farther back. So I was, 3 different, they're all angled about their ding dong against each other. So I thought that was a good, way to go. I had another one, Coach Ziggy.
In an allowance. Is he
He's in an allowance race. So he's in tomorrow, I think in the 4th race or 3rd race. So I had him too, but I didn't want to enter him. And then him and, the Big Lep go at each other and, kill off each other. So I just went ahead and enter him in a different race. And I already had 3 or 4 in there, so I didn't want to put 5 in there.
Is there a rule about that in West Virginia? Or?
I think as long as you have enough earnings, you can enter them all.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I had a couple more fillies I could enter too, but I was just I didn't want to make too many people mad.
Well, that's actually a good question. Like, how do you manage the owners when you got? I mean, Burnsworth has pieces of everything, but you got different other people connected to some of these horses. Does that get complicated?
No, I mean, most of my owners now, they understand. I'm here to win. I don't care who owns them. It's not. I'm here to win for everybody. I'm here to put the horse in the best spot. And, I've had some owners that didn't like it. They're probably no longer with me. But, I mean, when you enter a race, they all want Boca Chica. I mean, that's the biggest issue I get. Everybody wants Boca. Well, there's only one Boca. Well, I guess there's 3 of them, but only one rides now. Yeah. So, we've been lucky. JD's picked up a lot of, second calls for us. He's done very, very well. Lasker's rode some for us. Barbosa's rode some. So, when the other guys fill in and they still can win races, it's easier not using Boca. Sure. But everybody wants Boca. That's the key. Am I getting Boca? I'm getting Boca. Well, then he rides for Jeff too, so I don't always get him.
Right.
So then we have to go to plan B.
Right.
But his agent does a great job. I usually know before we go in, hey, he's got one for Ronco in here. You got to need a rider, or we're going to be good here. So Billy Kenny does a great job because I'm a baby, I guess, when it comes to entering, and I always want it my way. So I always don't get that, but right. Billy does good. He plays interference and tries to keep everybody happy. But when you got the leading rider for the last 6-7 years, and he wins at 30%.
Yeah,
you feel like you're in good hands when he's on it. Now, does he ride a great race every time? No, but
who does?
9 out of 10, he's pretty good.
Yeah. No, he's been the king out there for a long time. You mentioned Coach Siggy. We had a story about this on the racingbiz.com, but tell us the story of his name, because it's kind of an emotional connection.
Ronnie Ziegler and Elizabeth Ziegler, their son, he was a wrestling coach, and they was Coach Ziggy with an S, not a Z. Uh, and he passed away on Derby Day last year.
Mm.
So I asked if it was okay if I named a horse, after him. They were very grateful, and they're there every time he runs. They're big supporters. They're actually on vacation right now. They went away, them and their daughter. I don't know exactly where they're at, but they went away for the week. Just to be the three of them since it's been a year since he passed away. But yeah, I knew Tyler. I was around him a lot, and not a ton, but him and his dad, they were very close. They did teeth work. His dad is a horse dentist,
Okay.
and he's around the track a lot. Can't meet a better people. I mean, top to bottom, the whole family's nice. Uncles, they're all out. When the horse went the last time, the local police, they were there. The
Oh, wow.
sheriff's department, they were there. I mean, so Tyler meant a lot to that community. He's a wrestling coach. I went to the funeral. I mean, there was like 1,200 people there. I mean,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was a big, good young man. Gave his time for wrestling, and he was a coach. But he's missed. But hopefully with the name, I didn't want to bring up a bad memory every time the horse ran. But so far, the horse is, run good. So
Yeah.
hopefully he keeps running good.
Yeah. He's won 2 out of 4 starts. And like when it didn't one like all his buddies there when the horse broke his maiden. Do I remember
Yes.
that one?
Well, we didn't win the first time, and I was trying to win the first time. We didn't win the first time, but he did win the second time. And I run some stake races, and I ran the Chick Lane last year. I wasn't as nervous as this maiden running. I'll tell you that. I wanted to perform good because when you name a horse after someone, you want it not to be a dud. You want it to be win some races. And matter of fact, when I bought this horse, I bought 2 in a package. This one was kind of like just a throw in. I mean, he wasn't the one I was buying. The one I turned out to buy can't outrun me. So we gave more money for that one. It was kind of just a package deal. And this was just the one they threw in. And then my friend Chris Melton, he breaks all my babies. He called me. He goes, "This horse can run a little bit." He said he's fast. So then I had to come up with a name. And then before he came in, I asked him if that would be okay. He's got his own silks. The horse.
Really? So
Yeah,
what do the silks look like?
Let me see if I have I think I have a picture of him somewhere. Maybe I don't. There was they had like Superman like
Oh
logo,
yeah.
and then they have it. They're like black and red. That was his colors, and then it has what does it? It has the design in the middle. Like when he had his wrestling stuff, I just used that. He had like a camp, so I just used the logo he had and put him on the silks.
Nice.
So.
Ted, I don't know. We talked about Patinga's twin, who's in Friday. We talked about the horses in the coin collector, and I think we may have just lost Ted anyway.
He's back.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
We talked about the horses in the coin collector. Don't know if there's other stuff you wanted to bring up while we've got Anthony.
No, speaking of Ronnie, I saw he's got 2 in the coin collector as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe yes. I think he's probably got the favorite, and I think he has a filly. And yes.
Okay.
So hopefully, the draw's out loud. I haven't really looked at it yet. The overnight's out, so we'll see. I think one of mine's got the 10 hole. I think Big Left's got the 3.
Yeah.
I wish I could flip flop and give him the 10 and Irish Jubilee the 3, but it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know how much you talked about the Big Left, but I know a lot of us were pretty high on him. I know you were, Anthony, when he won that main special weight at Timonium last year. And I remember telling Frank after the race, I thought he was going to be state-bred 2-year-old champion. Didn't quite own up to that, but this year he looks like he's turned it back around.
Yeah, Shin started bothering him a little late, so we kind of gave him some time. And then I run him at Laurel just to get a race in him. And then this year, I mean, he looks like he's getting. I asked Boca, he goes, "This horse is getting better." So I think he's just a 4.5 horse. I think he just wants to get out there. He's kind of like a honey class. I think he just wants to get out there and go. So,
Anthony, I wanted to ask, so you're I think it's 4-time defending champion in wins at Charlestown, but you're chasing Ronnie Brown right now, who's having a big year. But are you, is that something you shoot for? Is that something you try to, I know you want to win races, but is that
I like to be leading trainer. I ain't gonna lie. I like being leading trainer. Yeah. I mean, he was 21 ahead of me about this time last year. He's only like 10 this year. So I think we'll be fine. I think, we're kind of down on horses right now. We tried to claim them. I just can't get them. I mean, I dropped a bunch of claims at Keeneland. Couldn't get any of them. So we struck out there. But, I mean, Ronnie does a good job. He does, he claims and, he's moved some up on me. He's made me look dumb a couple times this year. So, but I think at the end of the year, it'll be close.
Yeah. How many horses do you have out there?
Let's see. We got like 40 at Laurel, 49 at Charlestown right now. We usually keep about 60 there.
Okay.
I think we got 10 in Ohio, and then between broodmares and yearlings, and I have a swimming pool at the farm. We probably got 25 there that swim.
Oh.
And then we probably got another 45 to 50 broodmares and yearlings and weanlings and everything you ask for. That's why I'm gray. I mean, I went gray. I used to not be so gray, and now I'm gray. So
could be worse. You could have gone bald. So
we might get there soon.
How do you keep track of that many horses? That's like 175 horses.
Well, I got 2 great assistants. Derek Gatz at Laurel. He's been with me 6-7 years now. He does a great job. And then I got Cliff Tomisco at Charleston. He's probably with me 8 or 9 years. And then the farm manager, Willie, he does a great job. So, I mean, I have an iPad. I don't know how people used to do it back in the older days with just the condition books and no cell phones. I mean, I don't know how they did it, but I mean, with the iPads, I look at races every day. I try to keep the chart up. If a race don't go, I've already looked at races for tomorrow if that race didn't go somewhere else. But I mean, it's a lot easier if races go when you chart them. It makes it a lot easier. But with Derek and Cliff, I don't even do the training chart no more. I let them do it because they're there. They understand what we've been doing for so long. I mean, I'm at Charlestown one day. I'm at Laurel one day. It's just, I decide when we breeze and what we're going to breeze. But, the day-to-day with the jogging and galloping, or I let them handle it because they see them every day. So they know more about it than I do. Mm-hmm. We talk every day. We go over every horse, pretty much all the time. So we try to keep, we have a group text. So if a horse is at Laurel and it's at and then it goes to Charleston, everybody understands what that horse, if it's on ulcer medicine, it's on EPM medicine. We try to keep everything in line. But so far, it seems like it's worked. We've been doing now probably 6 years, with 2 tracks. And we added Ohio a couple of years ago. I got 2 trucks and trailers. We're shipping all the time. We're moving around. So they stay on top of it every day. We update the chart, where the horse is, but you got to stay on every day because if you ain't on every day, you come back a couple of days. Even when I go on vacation, I still do it. It's just, it's easier if you stay on it. It'll take me an hour every day. If I miss 2 or 3 days, it'll take me 6 or 7 hours because it just takes so much longer to get through everything. But I enjoy what I do. I mean, I love winning. I played sports my whole life, and I figured winning a race is the closest thing you ever get of scoring a touchdown. So I enjoy it. Both my assistants love winning. We don't like running third. We ain't here to run fourth. We're here to win.
Yeah.
And I've kind of built an ownership group around me now that understands that we might lose a horse or lose a little money on when we claim one. But on the other end, we might claim one and make a lot of money with it. Like Patinga's twin, we claimed him for 20. He's made $300,000 now. I mean, it's just you can't get mad over one horse. It's a
Right.
it's a process. I mean, it's just if you're gonna get mad because you lose one horse and somebody does decent with it, and I always tell them, I say you got to lose a good one to lose some bad ones. I mean, it's just part of it. It's just, but 90% of my owners, 95% of my owners understand I'm very aggressive. We're here to win. If you don't like that, you probably go with somebody that's going to be an 8 or 9% trainer and run them over their head 10 or 15 times, then put them in where they can win. And when they do that, they usually don't win either because now they've learned how to lose.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think I lost the claimer of the year last year at Laurel. I had him as a baby. Conroy, great owner. I ran for 12.5 at Charlestown first time out. He run third. Never really showed anything in the morning. I took him to Laurel. I ran him for 12.5. He went by like 4 or 5 lengths. So I was all right. So I upped him to 20,000 straight 3-year-olds. He was 10-1. One person was in. He went by 2, and he just every race he improved like 3 or 4 buyer points and just kept going up and up and up.
Yeah.
And Joanne Slinkle did a great job with that. My hat's off to her. Owner makes money. He's happy because he's a breeder. So, but you got to lose a couple, lose some bad ones, lose some slow ones.
Right. Well, and that's like one of the hard parts of the claiming game. If you're an owner, if you get yourself in a situation where you're like out of conditions and you only have slow horses, it gets really hard to lose them.
It does. I mean, you don't want to be the last one, to hold on to them. I mean, especially in the claiming game, you don't want to be, they start having little issues and issue here, issue there, and now they're not running to what they used to be running. But I mean, luckily, that's why I branched out because I do have a lot of horses, so I might have 3 for the same condition. So I can run in Ohio, I can run one in Charleston, I can run one in Laurel.
Yeah.
So I can split them up. So I hate running 2 in a race. But 1, it kills my win percentage. And 2, if you run 1-2, somebody's pissed because you beat their other horse and they would have won the race if they wasn't in it. So I try not to run too many. Burnsworth, he hates losing. I mean, I hate when he's got two. I hate when it's a different owner against him because he ain't gonna be happy if he gets beat. And I don't blame him. I mean, he's in it to make money. He's in it to win races. So,
well, he's going to get at least 5 of them beat Saturday in the stake.
He called me today. He's like, I don't know if I got 5 silks at Charleston. I said, well, we'll figure that. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out.
Yeah,
and he loved. And if he gets hot, if them silks ain't on them horses. If I ship a horse and I forget to ship the silks, he ain't very happy.
Ted, you got anything else you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, Anthony, obviously loaded for bear for the coin collector Saturday night. How about just asking about Faster Gator? It was,
he worked last Sunday. He worked good. He was in company. He was in hand the whole way. Worked very good. Galloped out really well. He drank a little bit of water. He's a big, heavy horse. I think it's the Maryland. What is it? The Maryland Sprint or?
Yeah, Maryland Sprint. Yeah.
He's nominated for that. He's going to work either Friday or Saturday, depending on the weather. We're going to go. I think we're working 5/8, make him gallop out. And I'm gonna put him behind a horse and make him chase him, make him finish, and try to get some more out of him because he's so heavy. I've always said it took us a long time last year to get him fit. I run him the 3 of Life at Charlestown just to get a race over the track and just get some air in him, and then when I run him at Mahoney, kind of same thing. I wanted to I get a race into him before the stake. I wanted to do the same thing on this one, but just with the weather this winter and just wasn't in the cards. So he's going to be entered. We're going to look at it. I'm going to talk to Derek. We're going to sit down and talk about it. See what the best, if he gets the 1 hole or something, maybe I don't run. But right now he's 60-40 to run.
All right. Well, I think that's got us covered, Anthony. We really appreciate you making some time here on Charlestown Races Today.
All right. Thank you.
Good luck this weekend.
Always need luck.
I'll see you Saturday night.
I'll see you.
Coming up next on Charlestown Races Today, powered by the Racing Biz, Charlestown track announcer Paul Espinosa joins us. Paul, thanks for joining us here on Charlestown Races Today, powered by the Racing Biz, presented by our friends at Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races. A lot of news, as we were talking about off air, a lot of news to talk about, plus some interesting races to discuss. We just had trainer Anthony Farrior on talking about his numerous entries in the coin collector, which we'll get to in a minute, as well as his entry in the allowance on Friday. But before we get there, let's talk about Maston Mummed comes back with running shoes on.
Yeah, and this was a filly that, again, kind of surprised me, not because I questioned her talent. I just kind of questioned whether or not 4.5 furlongs would kind of be her preferred trip. I kind of felt like she was really kind of showed her stuff when she got around 2 turns here at Charlestown. The fact that she was able to come back running, I think bodes really well for her moving forward, because it still may be the case that she's better going around 2 turns. And again, for her to come back off the shelf and deliver that type of performance against a pretty solid field, I think, again, very impressed by her.
I felt like, too, I mean, looking at the PPs, I felt like sort of the pattern of works was indicating 2 turns like the. So I took a stand against on the theory that she's not going to be, all revved up for this race. There's other stuff down the road, but once again, I was wrong.
Hey, and that's it's one of the things about handicapping. It's if any of us always had the answers, we'd be on an island somewhere, living the high life. But here we are. I'm at Charlestown, and you guys are spread across the Mid-Atlantic. And but yeah, no, it definitely was again very, very fun race. I felt like again. I think that Truth and Justice also ran. She was kind of in that same boat where I kind of felt like maybe both of them were kind of using this as a nice little jumping off point. And if you get a nice paid workout to kind of get you set up for some races down the road, great. But again, both ran really well. And so I think they'll be interesting to follow in this division moving forward.
Yeah, another horse coming back that ran for the first time in almost a year last Friday. Juba with a twist.
He is, again, a name that looked like he was kind of on this upward trajectory when he entered into the Sam Huff West Virginia Breeders' Classic as a 3-year-old, and he was odds-on favorite that night. Ended up, being caught pretty wide around all 3 turns. Wasn't quite able to end up going with Ronaldo that evening. And then it's kind of been a little bit of an up and down trip, for him. I guess he spent some time on the sidelines, but it was very good to have him back. And I felt like, again, he delivered a pretty solid effort, having to run down a very game Jungle Beast who kind of showed some newfound speed on the front end. He was 30-1 shot. That again proved very tough to run down. I'm not holding that against Juba with the twist off the shelf. I think that Jungle Beast really seemed to improve that again really hot barn Stephen Murdoch again had him ready to roll. And so I think Juba with the twist, just a fun horse to have back into the older division here of West Virginia breds. And I think that again certainly he'll be one I'm looking forward to seeing where he ends up down the road.
Yeah, he's 10 for 17 now in his career for Christy Petty has won 3 of the last 4 Cavadas with Hessica and Petty Perfect last year. Hey, Ted, you take a look at that allowance Friday at CT. That's $39,000. You get multiple stakes winner Barbadian Runner. You get stakes winner Patingas Twin. Get all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, certainly. That's going to be one of the races I featured. I'm going to recap next week. Barbadian Runner, just tremendous season last year for Henry Walters. In his last appearance, I think at Charlestown was winning the Hilton, if not, might have been his only appearance there, going for $500,000. Tremendous performance when Forest Boyce was up. That race come up tough. It's an open allowance, and Patinga's Twin is in. That race might typically be $100,000 stakes race at other tracks. Curious to see what Barbadian Runner does. Just had a tremendous 3-year-old campaign last year for Henry, and we'll see if he can duplicate his effort in the Hilton. That was a big performance that night on Charlestown Classic night. So we'll see if he can duplicate that.
Paul, I was saying to Farrior, when you entered Patinga's Twin, you probably had to be thinking we're going to be a solid favorite in here. And not only are you not the favorite, not only you're not a solid favorite, you're not even the favorite.
Yeah, it's he had to be thinking, I guess I needed to enter Faster Gator to get the favorite in this spot. But again, Faster Gator actually ended up finishing behind him, kind of as a surprise in the Hilton that night. Again, Forest Boyce put on one of the best rides that you will ever see in a race at Charlestown that night in the Hilton. I felt like with Barbadian Runner, again, it was a really hot pace. I believe it was Faster Gator and Neo Equos, and I think it was Boca Chica and Irad going head and head, and they were throwing it down, and she was just sitting back and watching it all unfold and was able to kind of negotiate some traffic and, again, just put on a masterclass of a ride. He's a fascinating horse. I think that, again, we were kind of talking about this off camera. It seems like he is going to be probably pointed to the Charlestown Classic. I would think that, again, it would just make a ton of sense. And he's shown that he can handle the route of ground. He's a fascinating horse, a really cool horse, and so he'll get another run around the track on Friday night. Very much looking forward to that. Certainly a race, like I said, that anywhere in the country they'd be happy to have as a stake, like Ted mentioned, and we have it as a nice open allowance event.
Yeah, I mean, you got those two horses. You got Falcon Blue, who's 5 for 7 at the track. I mean, it really is something. Paul, have you handicapped it? I mean, is there anything clever that you think you can do here other than eating one of the chalks?
So I guess one of my only things I would like to add, and that's a horse that you just mentioned with Falcon Blue. I do believe, and again, this is just a theory, that it seems like Falcon Blue can't stand up in the mud. I mean, I think he hates an off track. And so if you draw a line through both those off track performances here at Charlestown, everything else is really, really good. So that would just be one thing that I would say to keep an eye on. I think that he certainly will have the recency edge over Barbadian Runner. Patinga's Twin, he's run over the track before. I don't believe he has a win. I think he's over 2 if memory serves. But again, they were still decent performances. But it seems like he's gotten really good. I think it's just a race where I think Hammer's presence also is going to ensure a pretty swift pace. Seems like I think Falcon Blue, Barbadian Runner, they both should be able to sit pretty decent trips. But I haven't done a deep dive other than I know I made Barbadian Runner the favorite, obviously, on the morning line. I think I made Patinga's Twin second choice, and I believe I made Falcon Blue third choice. But Play It Loud also ran a big race just the other day. Be interesting. I think the 6.5 furlong aspect, I think he might be better served at a little bit longer trip, even though he's getting up going 6.5. It's just a fascinating race, and one that, again, I know I'll have the juices flowing on Friday night. Definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, it's a terrific race, and definitely one to pay attention to. Let's skip ahead to Saturday. You got the Coin Collector, 4.5 furlongs for the 3-year-olds. Field of 10 plus 1 on the AE. And if the winning answer is not Richard Burnsworth, that's going to be a tough beat for Richard Burnsworth because he owns all or part of 6 of these.
Yeah, it's an interesting race, and again, I think that there are some horses that certainly look a little bit stronger than others. A couple of them that may be a little bit more, the stakes names, that type of company. But nonetheless, like I said, it's going to be strength in numbers for Team Burnsworth. I don't know. I know you mentioned having Farrior on. Did he mention? Was the strength in numbers? Was it to try to keep the horse on the AE out, or was it just to try to mess with the track announcer and have all those Richard Burnsworth silks? Do you know? Did he specify which one that they were looking?
Which one of those? We did not address that specifically, but I would assume it was to mess with the track announcer.
Yeah, no, I definitely we had a funny exchange, and it was all fun the other night when I think it was before the It's Only Money, and I had made Honeyquist 6-1 on the morning line, and he comes down to the paddock when I'm filming for the Race Charlestown social media, and he says, "Oh, who made the odds for this race? Did you let AI use it?" And sure enough, if you want to look up what odds Honeyquist went off at, it was 6-1. So anyway, again, it was a fun exchange, and again, it's all fun and games, and certainly if I like everybody else. I like being right, and I'm going to let you know when I am if you think that I'm going to be wrong. So, but anyway, no, it's going to be an interesting one. I would imagine that the Big Lep is going to be a pretty pretty sizable favorite, I would think, if assuming that the Runco horse Ryan's Run does not draw in. I think that he kind of towers over his other Burnsworth Farrior companions in this race. And so yeah, that'll just be kind of interesting to see. Maybe Abundant Energy. He's put up some pretty decent numbers, but we've talked about how sometimes those Mountaineer figures can be a little bit elevated on the Equibase speed figure scale, at least. But he certainly could be an interesting name as well. Trickster for Juba, he certainly flashed talent. He won the Mascarelli as a 2-year-old and won his comeback race against older horses. So, he just hasn't quite put a race forth that's been as fast as the Big Lep has run. So, again, I think that, it feels a little bit top heavy. I think there is a lot of filler in this race, and so we'll just we'll see. We will never complain if we have 10 horses leave the starting gate here at Charlestown, and so certainly hope that that's the case on Saturday night for the coin collector.
Talk to us a little bit about the Runco horse, who's, as you said, is on the AE and may not draw in, but pretty nice looking debut.
Yeah, it's again out of a mare that has produced some pretty decent runners here over the years in Saturday in the Park, and that was certainly an eye-catching debut back in January. I haven't had a chance to talk to Jeff as to why he's been on the shelf since then, but I do know that you don't see many sub-minute 5 furlong drills. You don't see a lot of 5-minute drills, period, here at Charlestown, but you certainly don't see him going in less than a minute. And so he breezed him out of the gate on April 24th, 59-3. And so he obviously has to be doing really, really well. He is cross-entered in an allowance race on Friday night, so that's going to be an interesting game of chicken that he's going to have to play. Do I run in the race that I know I'm gonna get in? I think it's a non-winners of 2 West Virginia bred allowance, or do I roll the dice because I know that there's going to be a defection? If so, who that defection is going to be remains to be seen. So that'll be interesting to see. But nonetheless, I think that for the folks at home that don't know, and I'm sure you guys obviously are aware, again, this basically was an earnings thing. So, because he's been on the shelf since that January score, hasn't had a chance to rack up any more earnings than while the others in this race have. And so I would think that in very short time, in a very short period, he will end up racking up some earnings in a number of allowance wins that he'll start rolling through. Just happened to come up this one a little bit, again, short on that scale. But I think that moving forward, he looks like he is one that should have no problem stretching out based on how he kind of strided out in that debut. And I think that it'll certainly spice up the rivalry between the two of the top trainers that we've had here in recent years. Obviously, Runco had that long reign atop the trainer standings. Farrier's knocked him off here the last couple of years. Ronnie Brown trying to join the mix as well this year. He's currently atop the standings. And so anyway, it's, again, as the world turns Charlestown style, never a dull moment.
Ted, you get a chance to look at this race at all? You have thoughts?
I did. I mean, obviously, it starts with Farrior and all the other the Burnsworth horses. When I talked to you last year after the Big Lep graduated against open maiden special weight foes at Timonium, I said to you, I think this horse has the potential to be the best West Virginia bred 2-year-old in 2025. He didn't quite pan out as good as I thought he would last year, but this year he's certainly shown those same flashes of brilliance that he's capable of. The Sigler horse come back really strong the other night.
Yeah, what do you guys think about Maston Mum coming back on short rest?
Yeah, another one. Again, she come back and win the stake race for fillies, and now she's trying to beat the boys, going 4.5 potentially. Same with Edie's Flame, right? I mean, she's already been against older horses in a stake. Tried the 3-year-old fillies in a stake that Master Mum run, and now she's going to come back 2 weeks later and try the boys. So I think she's sort of screaming like she could be a defection, but don't know if she's going to scratch early enough that Jeff's horse will get in. But there's a couple of them that look like they're squeezing the lemon a little early this time of year. But it all hinges on the Big Lep. I don't know if those Bernardini horses are quite up to the mix. And then and then Cindy's horse figures a little bit in there. But really, it comes down to the big lep. It comes down to Ronnie's colt coming back as well as he did in that allowance race. And then we'll see if, like Paul pointed out, if the chess match kind of forces Jeff's hand to go in the allowance race, or if he sits and hopes for a spot on Saturday.
I kind of feel like also that I just don't know that either the fillies are fast enough to, like Ted kind of pointed out. I think it starts, if the big lep runs his race, I think it's certainly his race to lose. And I haven't seen anything from the fillies that say that that either one can jump up there and beat the boys yet. I think that, again, there's a filly, I believe, running on Thursday night that I believe it's at a premium for David Walters. So it could be a big week for the Walters family. I think that she would be a very interesting filly against the boys, but you can expect David to kind of play it a little bit more conservatively with an incredibly talented filly. And again, that'll be on Thursday night. But other than that, I just really haven't seen any of the girls that look like they could warm up the boys. And again, obviously my opinion was wrong it's been too long. We'll see if it's wrong again here. Certainly it wouldn't be the first or last time, but that's just kind of my take on the two girls in there.
As a handicapper, when you see a horse coming back on short rest, does that concern you when it's going like 4.5 furlongs?
That's a tricky one. Again, just because it's definitely not an area that I have a ton of backside experience with, knowing like what a race like that could take out of a horse. I always kind of the thing in my head that I kind of wrestle with is when you look at all of these horses, around the country that have all these, pretty stiff works every week. That's not something that trainers employ here at Charlestown on a regular basis. I think that they like to kind of race their horses into shape. I also think, taking this into another deep area here, I also think that a lot of these West Virginia breds, they are certainly bred to race. They are not bred to sell. And so, you don't maybe have as much fragility. I think maybe some of the West Virginia breds maybe a little bit more hickory. They can kind of withstand the rigors of some strenuous campaign. So it's not really something that I guess jumps out at me either way. If a horse is going well, I think that that's kind of the best thing. I would say that if a horse is tailing off and they're kind of, forcing the issue a little bit where it looks like, okay, this horse really could use a break, I could see that. But I don't think that either of these fillies per se are going the wrong direction. I just don't know if either of them are good enough.
They may not be good enough. What about you, Ted? What do you think about the short rest going 4.5?
Yeah, I mean, I typically would go back and watch the replay. I mean, I've watched the races when they run live, and then, but I'll go back and watch the replay, and I'll look for how the horse finished up, and if it looks like the horse gallops out with a lot of energy, then I think that the 2-week turnaround is not going to impact that horse's performance. But if you see a horse really have to reach and get under considerable urging from the rider, or lose ground to the runner-up or the next couple of horses coming at him, indication might need a little time away. So I think he'll opt out at some point, just based on she's already run 2 stakes 2 weeks apart. This would be 3 stakes, a total of 4 weeks apart if she's back in there. And then Mastin Mum, again, I thought her best efforts last year were stretching out, going 7 toward the end of the year. It was a nice comeback race, winning the 4.5 stake a couple weeks ago. Little surprised she's in there per se. I mean, I expected Ronnie's other horse to be in there, Tricks of Fajuba, but I didn't expect to see Mastin Mum in the entries. I think she might tend to be out of it on Saturday, but again, like Paul said, I didn't see any indication from her effort in that race that she could step up and beat the boys. Mm-hmm. But on the same note, it didn't look like that race really took a lot out of her. But I'm guessing long term, she's, Ronnie's got to be thinking 6.5, 7 for the races that he's going to go in with her. I mean, that's where all the big money races are for the West Virginia breds for 3-year-old fillies. So little surprised she's in there. But it didn't look like that race really took a whole lot out of her. It was nothing special. I mean, that It's Been Too Long race was nothing special. The final time was certainly nothing special, even on that night on an off going. So
So where you're going to
Going
end up, it sounds like both of you guys are landing kind of on the big lap if the big lap is the big lap, and could go other directions if not.
Yeah, you know what? The other thing I thought, I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago, I thought Farrior was going to be pretty well loaded for the coin collector. I was thinking Big Lep, and I was thinking Coach Siggy would be the other one he would have in there. And of course, he's in allowance race before that this week. But I thought Big Lep and Coach Siggy had a chance to run 1-2 in there. And then he put Coach Siggy in an allowance race. The Big Lep's certainly his best right now. And we'll see if he lives up to what he's been doing. He's certainly going to be the favorite in there. But yeah, and then the other one, Trickster Vajuba, come back with a real nice race. Again, he's probably going to be primed for going 2 turns down the road, but I can't fault Ronnie for bringing him right back and trying the stakes in this spot here.
One horse that we haven't touched on that I actually do think, intrigues me a little bit for Farrior is Irish Jubilee, drawn far outside. Yeah. His debut win last year made you think that, wow, the sky is the limit. And he has struggled to replicate that race since. I think I've brought it up on this platform before that I'm not a big fan of horses cutting back from 2-turn races here at Charlestown to 4.5 furlongs. That time, I think that, again, he'd be a horse that maybe second time on the cutback, I'd be a little bit more interested in. But I think that being drawn outside actually helps him a little bit if he's not as sharp out of there. He's been running some pretty quick fractions going his 2-turn races, and so certainly the stamina is going to be there for him. And he has the race on the page that I think puts him in the Big Lep's company in his stratosphere. It's just a matter of, can he get back to that? And is Saturday night the night that he's going to get back to that? But yes, your encapsulation of my thoughts is accurate. I think it's the Big Lep's race if the Big Lep shows up.
All right.
Yeah, and Irish Jubilee probably does get the benefit of the draw. And Farrior mentioned that he was hoping the Big Lep would draw outside, and those horses tend to avoid traffic trouble and not get too involved in the pace pressure early. So having the outside does put Irish Jubilee in the mix, but yeah, he's not quite up to what the Big Lep is when they both run their best races.
Speaking of traffic trouble, Paul, wanted to get your take on the Kentucky Derby, which is, 18 horses always have traffic trouble in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, it's a tough race for me to figure out who ran the best race. I kind of feel like if you run that race, 100 times, I don't know how often Golden Tempo wins it. I think, again, credit to both Sharita Vo and Jose Ortiz for the jobs that they did of having him ready to fire and putting him in the right position. So, again, don't want to take anything away from them. But Denon Bourbon being right on top of a very hot pace and kind of being the one that stuck around the most. Chief Wallaby was bounced around a little bit at the top of the stretch. You had the Renegade. There's some online fodder about, how tough was Renegade's trip from the inside. Obviously had the early kind of bumps, and then he made the first move that, Jose was able to follow Irad. I don't think that time will look back on this Derby and say that this was an all-timer. I don't think that this is shaping up to be, at least these horses, I think that one of my takeaways is, and it's not an original thought, but Chad Brown has to be really feeling pretty bad about Paladin, being that Paladin defeated both Renegade and Golden Tempo in his road to the Kentucky Derby that unfortunately had to take an early detour. But I think that, again, overall, just a fantastic ride from Jose Ortiz to be able to work out that trip on Golden Tempo. And again, it's I don't know that it's going to end up being the strongest of crops. And then obviously having the news now that Golden Tempo is going to be skipping the Preakness and pointing to the Belmont, that's a whole nother can of worms for another podcast about again, what Maryland needs to do, what New York needs to do. And I think my 2 cents that I believe I've put out into the ethosphere, the stratosphere, the ethos, whatever. I'm running out of
wherever you put things out.
Exactly. I think that there needs to be a conversation. I know I've talked to Ted about this. Maryland needs to talk to New York, and New York has to choose. Do you want to be the last leg of the Triple Crown, or do you want your spot on the calendar? And then Maryland goes from there. So I think if New York wants to stick where they are 5 weeks from the Derby, great. Then Maryland goes 4 weeks behind that. If New York wants to stay the last leg of the Triple Crown, great. Maryland takes their spot. New York goes back. I think it really should be just that simple. It's not sustainable moving forward. And again, you can have the argument as to, what it will do to the Triple Crown, what it'll do to the sport. You can have that discussion, but I think that, again, money talks, and right now it is not something that is good for business right now, this current model for Maryland, in my opinion. So.
I'd go one step farther. I think it's bad for racing because, look, there are only, people always, talk about the Breeders' Cup or the Travers or the Haskell or this and that. Like, all of those races, in terms of racing's ability to reach outside the bubble of racing, they're zeros. Nobody cares. If you ask 100 casual sports fans who don't follow racing who won the Travers last year, they won't have any idea what the Travers even is.
Correct.
Chances are that they'll know the Kentucky Derby. Chances are pretty good they'll know the Preakness and the Belmont because it's the Triple Crown. And the fact that we're incinerating the only tool we have to reach outside the racing bubble because 60 years ago, that's how you trained a horse is like you go to insane and then you go a million miles beyond it to get to the spot that racing is in. Ted, do you agree?
Well, yeah, I mean, me and Paul talked about, I know me and you have, Frank. I mean, two things. Obviously, just getting back to the Derby, I mean, Golden Tempo had the best trip, got to stay out of traffic, sat back last, circled the field, launched his move when Renegade did, and overhauled him in the lane. So great trip, great ride. But then again, it speaks volumes about where the Triple Crown is right now, because here's a horse that wins the Derby. It is not coming to the Preakness. And, until racing people realize that these three races cannot be stacked so close together, they've got to be 5 weeks apart, because that's how horses are trained leading up to the Derby. They're looking at preps 4 and 5 weeks out. So when you exit the Derby, guess what? They're looking at the next race 4 or 5 weeks out, which is the Belmont. So either Maryland's got to go 5 weeks after the Belmont, or Belmont can be the last leg and give up the June spot and let Pimlico, Laurel Pimlico have that spot 5 weeks out from the Derby, and then go 5 weeks later. And until that, you're going to have horses that win the Derby, skip the Preakness. I mean, that's all it's coming down to. I mean, you just have to face that reality. It's 2 years in a row now, and that's going to be the pattern moving forward.
I also want to just a quick correlation to another sport like the NBA. They obviously have their issues right now with load management, and it's like, what are they? You're just gonna again yell and scream at Adam Silver to no. This is what guys did back in the day. When they had like plumbers and stuff running around outside, around Wilt Chamberlain. It's like no, you have to adapt to what the times and what your athletes are telling you. And again, I don't know what the NBA's answer is, but I do think that horse racing has a pretty easy one, and it's just space it out. It's just figure it out. We get it, everybody. And there, I always irked me when people would say, "Oh, you're making it easier." It's like, well, what about the idea of having the best horses from the Derby actually come back in the Preakness and be at full strength? And so then you have another, it's obviously going to be a smaller field, but you're going to have hopefully the best field in there. I don't think that makes it easier. And then the same
makes it harder.
Exactly. The same thing will go for the Belmont. So I just think that that's a very low hanging fruit argument to say, oh, it's going to make it easier. It's like, no, we're trying to make it sustainable. How about that?
Yeah. I mean, because if you think about it too, like, we're 4 days after the Kentucky Derby, and now the air's out of the balloon for not just for the Preakness, but for racing. No one outside the bubble is going to pay any more attention to racing. We're done for the year. We could have at least had 2 weeks of like, oh, well, could this horse win the Triple Crown? Yeah. Now we had 4 days of it, and now everyone will go back to ignoring racing. And I just, madman.
Hey, just know everybody making these decisions a lot smarter than us,
They'd be happy to tell you that.
Yes. I get it.
Yeah. Well, everybody's smarter than me, but that's a different issue altogether. But all right, Paul Espinosa, thanks a lot. Good stuff, as always. Look forward to doing it again. And we'll look forward to watching some of these races out at, CT this weekend. got a lot of fun things teed up between, Coach Siggy and, this race on Friday and the coin collector. And we got As the World Turns too. So good stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great time. Hey, the air's out of the balloon nationally, but here at Charlestown, air is going right into the balloon. We are full speed ahead, baby. So
yeah.
I appreciate your guys' time as always, and yep, look forward to doing it again soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Ted.
I'll see you Saturday night, Paul. I'll be up there for the coin collector.
Sounds good.
All right, that was Anthony Farrior, Ted Black, and Paul Espinosa joining us here on Charlestown Races Today, part of the Midlantic Racing Today family of podcasts. Charlestown Races Today is powered by the Racing Biz, theracingbiz.com, and presented by our friends at Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races. Charlestown Races Today going to come right back at you in 2 weeks. We will be off next week, but Midlantic Racing Today will be busy next week. It's Preakness week, so Maryland Racing Today will be quite busy, and we hope you'll be joining us. So thanks so much for joining us. Have a great week, everybody, and we will talk with you soon on Charlestown Races Today.